I grew up in the Republic of Congo in Africa.
Okay, and what was your upbringing like there?
Oh, it was very challenging in a way. I call it a spiritual battle because it involves my mom and her life somehow because she was divorced. She divorced my dad when I was 2 years old. And after that, she got herself into the Bible and praying. And I think at the age of 3, I had already learned how to interpret my dreams, for example, how to pray to God and ask for strength.
Okay.
So that I could overcome the bad spirit that I judged was my stepmother.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And are you still a very spiritual person?
Yes, as
Yes.
a matter of fact, there was a time in my life, even long after I had been in this country, that I was questioning if I still had that power and strength. And I spoke to her on the phone and she said, you did great. At the age of 18, when I happened to live with her, because my father and my stepmother raised me. But when I was 18, I wound up staying with her for a year. And I attempted suicide at that age. So it was very difficult. I think I was going through a spiritual transition. She was so powerful in the way that things were happening around me. She had been predicting them all along by reading the Bible, by praying and having visions and dreams. So I asked her after several years of living in this country, how did I do? Did I pass the test? She said, oh, you did fine. You were great.
And so how did you end up in the United States? What brought you here?
When I was growing up as a teenager, there was a lot of what I call American influence. Just the radio had music coming from the United States, America. Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Bobby Brown.
You're dating yourself.
So I was really just fascinated with the
I
American
think they don't
culture.
know who any of those people are, probably. Do any
Oh,
of you know
no?
who any of those musicians are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Michael Jackson was king of pop. I mean, if you went to a village in Africa, far village in Africa, where you can imagine the elephants and the lions, they knew Michael Jackson. If anything or anybody, Michael Jackson was very well known. So I call it the American influence. It prompted me to have the desire to come and live in this country.
And did you attend university?
Over here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I went first. I insisted that I wanted to get my GED, even though I came here with some credentials. And while I was there, I insisted that I wasn't ready to graduate, even though the whole school was telling me, the academia, that you really go ahead and graduate. My concern was that being an immigrant and not having parents to support me and sponsor me, I may go to college and drop out. So I wanted to be as small as possible, master the language, every material that was given to me, so I can earn scholarships.
So your first language is French?
Yes.
Yes. And so did you learn English when you were in Congo?
Yes.
Yes, you did, but it's not the same as being taught by a native English speaker. Is that
Well,
what happened for
in
you?
a sense, is in school, elementary school, we take English as a second language. You're right, it's not the same. It's like she, he, boy, simple words. But I decided on my own to attend the American Embassy had a school, a course, where you can study and learn American English. So I was very fascinated by that. I did that for 9 months.
So, what were your parents like? You are very aggressive and very outspoken woman. Did you have any role models? Like, who were your sheroes? Let me ask you that. Let's put it that way.
I think my hero when I came to the United States was Anne Frank, the girl from Germany,
Right.
who was affected by the Holocaust and lost her life as a result of the concentration camps with Hitler and his Gestapo. But back home growing up, I look up to my mom a lot, and even my dad. I love them both equally the same, even though they were not together, they were separated. They both give me a physical strength. They built muscularly, to look intimidating and powerful, especially my mom. She's got some amazing stories of beating people up who were messing with her. She apparently I was told, was called like on the street, come and help me out, there's a fight. And she went there, she goes there and beat like 5 guys at the same time. That's the story, so I'm not surprised. And my dad, he's a little background about him. He was an aviation pilot for the president of my country. So he used to travel a lot. To me, he was very professional, someone to admire. He portrayed command, some kind of authority. So I admire that.
Did you grow up in a home that was very politicized?
I don't know what you mean by that, like politics and
Yes,
stuff?
like, was that a priority in terms of the interests of your parents? Was politics and what was happening in the world? It wasn't.
Not at all.
It wasn't
I
the
think
dinner time conversation?
To
Okay.
answer your question, the country was like that. It wasn't necessarily something you would do at home, it's just the country itself. We uphold human qualities, like hold on to our norms, our values, and our culture. For example, you have to respect your elders. That's
I
a
like
given.
that.
And so if you did wrong in public, you're not gonna wait for your mom and dad to correct you. You're gonna expect some stranger's gonna smack you in the head or just discipline you right there and there. Because they'll say, you don't do that, how dare you? And if you say if and but or what, some other stranger or foreigner who is not related to you will also discipline you to teach you a lesson. So we grew up with those strengths and values. That's politics. In fact, I think the difference, to get into that question deeply, is on the bus, everywhere pretty much, people talk politics. It's not something that is rare or a taboo not to be discussed, or people are afraid that it will bring in fights or disagreements. People are very open about disagreements. And you express yourself.
So when you came to the United States, were you surprised about the cultural differences? What did actually surprise you when you came?
I think it was a cultural shock. It was like alienation. They call foreigners aliens. I thought I was in an alien world because of the advance in technologies, or maybe just the way people behave. But yet, it seems there was a lot of similarities. I was fascinated, for example, by African American males playing basketball outside in public, or even just rapping, or people eating chicken wings on the street. Some of those things stayed with me because I think maybe because we don't have basketball, we play soccer, football, and we don't really rap on the street or play music loud. So it was a sense of liberation and freedom that I admired.
Okay.
Yes.
And so now you are a full-time activist?
Yes.
That's your occupation?
That's my occupation.
Okay, and so how did that happen?
Good question. It happened as a result of the Trump election, the fake win. To me, I think like everybody, I knew we were going to win, that Hillary Clinton was going to be president. Because, Trump didn't do well in this debate. He started his campaign by insulting Mexicans, and he insulted that university. He went after the judge that was on his case, because that he was of Mexican background, that he couldn't decide on the case. Some ridiculous things like that. So I knew that when he was elected, that the Russians were involved in that they put their thumb on the election.
So let me interrupt you. So up until the Trump presidency, you weren't very active?
No. I would say maybe I started my political life during the Iraq War, when the country was calling for the troops to come back home. Because I was recruited by this organization called American Against the War in Iraq. That was way back, I think maybe 2006, 2007. I went to New Jersey, did a lot of community mobilization, handing out what do you call that, posters and things people can put in their backyard, and knocking on doors, a lot of canvassing. But that was a moment, maybe a period of 2 or 3 months and stopped. That was way back. After that, I continued just working with different organizations, doing 9 to 5 jobs. But by the time Trump came and won the election, I was a part-time / full-time personal trainer.
Okay,
So it gave me time to handle him. That's what I would call it.
okay.
I would go to Trump Tower from day one, right after the election, November 8th. In fact, I saw a UPS truck and I said, "Do you have a cardboard that can I use that one?" He says, "Yes." And I found a marker and I write, "Not my president," in big letters. So I'm in front of Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue. And the tourists, they just want to take those pictures. I mean, they adjust my body, they go like, "Excuse me, can you turn around? Okay, hold that sign this way." And I knew this is something I had to do. So every day, for 3.5 hours to 4 hours, I was out there at Trump Tower with my son, protecting against his administration.
So, as of July 4th of this year, we see you on the news, okay? And 4,500 people are, what's the word? Evacuated from the Statue of Liberty. And there's this little woman up on the statue. How did you get up there? That's my question. That's my curiosity was, how did she get up there? Could you walk us through the build-up and the plans for that action?
Absolutely. I think to do an action like that, first of all, I think it was a power or mission coming from a higher up. You have to have been disconnected somehow with the norms of our society, what people get lost into sometimes, the media. I don't watch TV, so I mentioned that for a reason. The radio, I don't listen to that. Listen to music, I don't listen to music. And my family's not here, so it's isolated but yet in control of my own environment. Alone but not lonely. So that when God called upon me to do this mission, that I call it, I was like, wait, wait, do you know that's an embarrassment, right? To go up there and do something like that, the Statue of Liberty, I need more evidence, more reason that I could carry an idea like that. Because we get ideas, but we don't implement them.
Right.
Now, I belong to Rise and Resist.
Why don't you explain what Rise and Resist is?
Sure. So I joined Rise and Resist on April 10th. And they're just a group of people who believe in direct actions, social justice and equality, as well as gender equality. So every Tuesday, for example, we have a general meeting, which I attended the first time. Everybody just welcomed me. I enjoyed the atmosphere. People were serious about the work. And they were talking, the first time I joined, there was a new committee that we had to vote on, we agreed that you can go on and carry your mission. It was called Abolish ICE. So I was really interested. I was like, wait a minute, they're talking about a topic that would be interesting.
Right, so some of the students don't know what ICE is. Could you explain that?
Yeah, so ICE is Immigration Custom Enforcement. To me, believe me when I say they are a Gestapo, because of the way they are raiding homes of immigrants, removing them from their homes, incarcerating them and deporting them. It is inhumane and it's draconian. You may hear people say, well, this policy, well, first of all, some people will say, what Trump is doing is a law that we are abiding by. It is not a law. It is a policy, which means he can reverse it. So ICE was created out of panic after 2011 because of national security, pretext of national security reasons. But it is being manipulated by the Trump administration. You've probably heard of Trump's zero tolerance policy on immigration, which Jeff Sessions came and admitted that we want to split children from their parents as a deterrence so they don't come to this country. So that alone is draconian. It is inhumane and it's cruel. So when I joined Rise and Resist that first time, and the group was presenting to us this problem that was going on with our country, I was interested. I wanted to be involved.
So, whose idea was the Statue of Liberty? Was that yours or was it the group's?
The group wanted to do a direct action like we always do every week. And I remember in a meeting saying, what about we use the 4th of July, the Statue of Liberty? I can be in a group and bring up a lot of ideas. And one thing I appreciate about Rise and Resist is it's welcoming and they listen to all ideas. So I was appreciative. I felt included in that group. And we carried out. It only took about 3 weeks maybe, or less. I remember we had a last meeting, which was specific to those people who were going to engage in civil disobedience. And I wanted to go up on the pedestal. So there are tickets to get into the island, Liberty Island, and there are extra tickets to get on the pedestal. But there was an election we had to do first. You know how you fold a piece of paper, put it in one basket. I was like, oh no, I really want to do the civil disobedience without getting arrested, of course. And I won. I picked a piece of paper. I was like, hey, that means you get a ticket to get that extra mile. So if you remember the news, there were people on the ground with T-shirts with letters saying abolish ICE. And there were people who unfolded the banner that says abolish ICE. I was part of that group. It was supposed to stop right there, but I decided that I needed to investigate the mission God had called me upon doing.
Okay.
And earlier I was saying to God, give me a reason to carry on this mission. He reminded me, okay, he or she, that could be a man or a woman, different colors, doesn't matter, reminded me it was the 4th of July, a big holiday, and Rise and Resist was going to be on Liberty Island, and there were children in cages, which troubled me a lot. I couldn't sleep with that. I couldn't live with that. So I said, okay. Then when there were like 11 people who got arrested that day, when they were taken down, and I managed to escape, because I had been telling the group, I was arrested a year before. The judge had told me, stay out of trouble. We had a little agreement. It was not a plea bargain where I pleaded guilty. I pleaded not guilty, but I admitted to 3-day community service. Those 3-day community service is what I did at Rise and Resist. So when you do a community service, you choose where you're gonna do that or what you're gonna do. That's how I wound up with Rise and Resist. So here I am saying I'm not gonna be arrested, escaping, if you want, for the lack of a better word, while other people are taken into custody. At that point, I really thought they were being arrested.
Now, why were they being arrested? They were just standing there with their signs,
the
right?
banners.
Right.
Yes. So we did a little bit of investigation. So most of the people in the group, I was more like just going along as a participant. But there were people who went on Liberty Island prior to the event to check for Wi-Fi, they went to the website to check for rules we were violating or not violating. Now, if you wear a T-shirt, the Constitution protects you. You can take your T-shirt anywhere. But the banner, it depends on the size, I think. Our banner was 3 by 20, so it was really big. And we tested the wind, because it was going to be windy, so we used water bottle to keep the banner down. So then, they were taken into custody for the banner. The people on the ground were not arrested. When they were taken, it was later that I was told they were not being arrested. When they got further down the steps, an agent officer came, a park officer that's federal, and said, why are you taking these people? Like, you're going to free them. We have to handcuff them and arrest them. When this was happening, I was investigating my plan. So
this was not planned in advance. This was totally spontaneous.
what I did was spontaneous, and I told no soul. Nobody knew about it. It was just me and God.
Okay.
So then I said, okay, show me. How am I going to get up there? And he showed me. First, so suppose this is Liberty Island, the Statue of Liberty stands like this around rail that looks like a fence, if you may. So I'm going around, and it's very narrow. I'm going around, and I see the chopper that said NYPD going back and forth. I think they do that routinely, but it was a little bit more exaggerated. And I don't know if I connected that with what
arrest.
we were doing,
Right,
the
right.
arrest. To me, it was like, okay, I need for them to go, and that little time I have, I could start my scale. And I did.
So do you have climbing experience? Have you done mountain climbing?
No.
Or, no.
No.
But you're a personal trainer.
I am a personal
And you're a
trainer.
very strong woman. Yes.
Yes, I was a tomboy growing up.
Okay.
So not only I had the physical strength genetically from my parents, and the spiritual strength from my mom teaching me how to have a strong relationship with God. So that came with confidence, because my experience, I think, is attributed more to my upbringing, that I had to fight an authority figure, which was my stepmother, defy her because she didn't mean well for me and my siblings or my mom. There were times she would say, well, you and your mom, you live like pigs. And I didn't like that. No parent or adult should say that to a child. It always broke my heart. And then her children were grown up. They were not from my dad. They were before her, from a previous marriage. And they bullied some of them. One of them was nice, but the rest of them, the older ones, would bully us. So I know bullying was the wrong thing to do. You don't bully everybody.
So it's July 4th. Your colleagues from Rise and Resist are being arrested. There's helicopters flying around. Now, I live downtown, and I have to tell you, helicopters don't usually, they only fly around that area if something's happening, you know. So they were, you know, on alert.
Yes.
Because it was July 4th, and there were many thousand people there.
Mhm.
So give us the timeline. So they're getting arrested, you're going around the Statue of Liberty, you get this idea that I'm going to climb up, and you start to climb.
Yes, it's about 3:20. I had a watch with me.
Right.
I had some cashews with me. And because we were going to keep our event secret, what I described so far, I had a Rise and Resist t-shirt in my bag to not cause attention. Not intending, I don't know what I was thinking, not intending, just planning ahead what the action would look like. Because we wanted media attention around the children that were in the cages. But I felt like we could get more coverage if I went up the statue. In fact, I really didn't expect the worldwide attention. I didn't even know what you guys were watching.
But it was very high where you
Oh
climbed.
yes.
You were up, what, about 20 feet? How high
Yeah,
were you?
absolutely.
And you weren't worried about falling or getting hurt or anything?
No, I knew I could die that day. I knew I could have fallen, sleep, things happen. And I knew most certainly the police could have shot me. But I wasn't concerned about the tourists coming and doing gift shopping, whatever they do at the Statue of Liberty.
Right.
Or the cops coming in and trying to rescue me, as they've said.
So we saw pictures of one police officer on a ladder, I guess, negotiating with you. What was he saying to you?
Well, I always say it could have gone any way. I don't talk about my arrest the last year, it went bad. So I'll leave it at that. This one could have gone any other way, but I think from the commander, whoever was talking to them on the talkie, they were told to approach it with caution. And I was a little bit, for the lack of a better word, aggressive, in the sense that I told the officer, when there was a time he was saying, okay, you made your point, now calm down, we're gonna help you come down safely, we're here to help you. I said, don't talk like that. Don't think for 1 second you have my best interest or you have concern for me. Don't talk to me like that. Because you guys shot Patricia Gonzalez at the border. There was a young woman from Guatemala, I believe. All she did was cross. We can go into that because nature allows us to cross borders. That's powerful. Mother Earth, just like the river, you can't stop the river or turn it backward. She was doing what a normal person would do. Cross, that's it. she was executed, point blank. So I didn't want to have that kind of conversation because I know what the NYPD is capable of doing.
But he said to you that you had made your point, so how did you make your point? You had the T-shirt with you?
No, well, I don't even know at that point if I even had the T-shirt. It was early on when he was saying these things.
Okay.
This was at the beginning of the conversation. In fact, I saw the
So
ladder.
they came very quickly.
Yes and no. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. I was not really thinking of all of that.
Right.
By the time he was up there, I saw people leaving. It didn't dawn on me they were being evacuated.
Because of you.
Because of me. I'm just
Right.
like, I thought 4 o'clock is when they closed.
Closing and everybody was leaving.
Everybody was,
Right.
was leaving.
Right.
And I was waving, like just having fun. And then the first few boats that were leaving were friendly. Maybe it was my rider resist people because they wanted to get them out of the island. Then the last boat, I remember they were phone, like they were upset with me. I didn't get it. There was no connection there. I didn't think I was inconveniencing people. I didn't think much of it. I wasn't concerned about the officers' safety because they had safety gears and equipment.
I saw they had all kinds of climbing gear on.
And they're
Yeah.
trained.
Right.
So we
But they
worried.
gave you gear to come down with,
I
correct?
didn't need it.
Yeah.
But they have to follow protocols.
So what made you come down?
Oh no, I told them I wasn't coming down until Trump releases the children.
Okay.
And I stood by that. So I didn't know, when he was telling me, to go back to your question, that you made your point, no, that wasn't my point. First, I didn't know I was on national TV. Second, I probably would have demanded to hear from the president himself that the children were released from those cages. I was going to stay there as long as it takes. I say, what is your plan B? What is your plan A and what is your plan B? He said, well, plan A is to get you down safely. And plan B is we're gonna come there and get you. I said, what's plan C? He said, there's no plan C. But after back and forth, you saw me going from one end, like underneath the foot of a sandal. At one point, I even took a nap. When I wasn't sure, I spoke to Lady Liberty. I said, am I okay to be here? And she said, don't worry about it, you're fine by me. At that point, I took a nap. I told the officer, keep
You
your
took a
hands. I
nap
took
with
a
the
nap.
New York City police watching you and with helicopters and.
Well, yes,
Yeah,
I was very
okay.
comfortable. My blood pressure was down.
Okay.
And I told the officer, keep your hands where I can see them. And don't move. Don't even come here because I didn't want to be startled. I'm very giggly and reactive, right? So there was very narrow area where I was standing. Any move could have meant my fall. So I say, don't you guys come over here. And they didn't. So each time I went back and checked with them, we'll have a little conversation. If I had enough of it, I said, please don't talk to me. I just want to stay here quietly. He saw me like this. And when I saw the boat, I was showing my T-shirt to send a stronger message that I'm here with Rise and Resist, my friends. And Trump care, it said the T-shirt said Trump care makes me sick. So it was a protest. Now civil disobedience, you must know, is a peaceful form of protest. And Martin Luther King Jr. will attest to that. There's nothing wrong with it. That's how this country was founded, on civil liberty and protest. That's exactly what I was doing.
So, so what's happening now? You have to go to court. You were arrested
Yes.
and you had a court date of in early November, and I think it was delayed now
Yes.
till December. What do you think, what does your lawyer say? What's gonna happen to you?
Well, I was charged with 3 misdemeanors. Even though it's a federal property, none of them were federal felonies. One was trespassing, disorderly conduct, and interfering with government functions. Now, each carry a maximum sentence of 6 months, so I'm facing 18 months in jail, in prison. I've been back to court. I remember the first time there was a wave of people, groups that came and supported me, but I was rushed into a vehicle right after that, so I don't know particularly who came. And even if I was told, I don't watch the news, don't listen to music. I'm very kind of disconnected with groups out there or figures, media, mainstream media, or big groups like Black Lives Matter
Right.
who came to support me. It would have been nice if that same wave of people came the second time I went back to court. So I was arrested July 4th. On July 5th, you saw me come out with a hoodie that says, "White supremacy is terrorism." I made my statement there. Then August 3rd, I went back to court. I was scheduled to return, I think 2 months after, but the judge pushed it closer back to August 28th, which was exhausting because I had to get my dress already. If you remember this dress.
Can we talk about that? There's a lot of fashion majors in the
Okay,
audience.
good.
So we see, those of you who were watching the slides before we started chatting, that you use fashion to make statements. Where does that come from?
It came from the disgust that I had for Melania Trump wearing that hideous jacket
Right.
on her way to the detention center. I mean, now this woman is been given all kinds of excuses. She herself never came out and says, "No, wait a minute, let me correct the record." So people want to say, "Oh, she cares," when her jacket said otherwise. To me, she does not care, and she said it by wearing that hideous jacket. She doesn't wear logos, guys. She chose on that particular day to wear a logo that big, very insensitive. And to me, when I realized the media was paying attention to my action, I was going to give them more work. I was going to protest even louder. And I was looking for a jacket similar to hers. I did some research. I wasn't getting anywhere, and I was getting frustrated. And I had to pray. I said, "God, I only have a week left, and I don't have this jacket that would say the opposite." He bought me Sue's GX design, a woman who introduced herself to me like so many people do on Facebook. And I said, "Can you please do this for me? If you can deliver it within a week, I'm going back to court. Then you become my designer." And she did. She got right into it, pro bono work. I didn't have to pay for the fabric or her time. And I told her I needed a dress. I wanted to say this and that. The font this way, on the back, this and that. But the "Be Best" on my butt,
Right.
that was a coincidence. We want to be best on the back, but she didn't have much more room.
So it ended up on your bra.
Yes.
Okay.
And Melania Trump campaign slogan or hashtag is "Be Best," right? So my hashtag is "Be Best My Ass."
Okay. And so, more recently, you were seen wearing one of the costumes from Handmaid's Tale at, I believe it was at City Hall?
And that was
Federal Hall.
Alexander
Hamilton,
yes,
right.
downtown by Beverly Park City.
Okay, so why were you in Handmaid's Tale outfits? A whole bunch of people, including yourself.
Earlier that day, Ryan Resist and we did an event to protest the Trump administration's zero tolerance policy against migrant children. Soon after that, the Refuse Fascism, another group, were the one who put together the Handmaid's Tale, those costumes. And I participated in that because I believe that we have to overthrow our own totalitarian regime. We have to say no to fascism, and I was there with them making that statement.
So, somehow you're moving forward with, what's her name, Susie X?
Sue's GX design.
Sue's GX design
Yes.
is going to keep moving forward with you in terms of being your designer?
She has already created many other outfits for me,
Okay.
and I'm asking for the public support because she's only one person, and she doesn't get paid. In fact, it helps that I should be able to pay her for her service.
Right.
When I went to Paris and London to support a colleague from Rise and Resist who had lost his father, so I went to a funeral. Sue surprised me with one outfit. It's the one you probably saw in the news last week. I have the bandana says Shiro, the dress says Shiro's on the chest, and I have a wristband like this also that says Shiro. It's blue and white.
What is the red, what looks sort of like a noose
Oh, that
around your
one.
neck?
That one I did ask for.
Okay.
My intention was, okay, when I went back for the August 28th hearing, my court hearing, I didn't have enough time, but I wanted Trump's outfit. I wanted to dress like Trump because
Oh,
he
but-
doesn't know fashion. And that scarf, the red scarf represented the stupid tie that
Ties,
he
okay.
always wears.
But it also looks like a noose.
Yes, it does. Someone actually referred to it as, it reminded them of slavery.
Yes, yeah.
You know. We're facing dark times, and I'm afraid for you, our young people, being poisoned by what's going on with this administration, because they don't represent the majority, they're just a few. And so we want to use light to shine over darkness and overcome these difficult times that we are facing.
We have the midterm elections are coming up. Are there any politicians that you're supporting or you're coming out to support?
Great question. I support the Democrats because sometimes, I'm a Democrat, sometimes they are judged much harsher for their policies or the way they do represent the people. So there's, I think, a false equivalency, just like you saw the campaign with Hillary Clinton, Secretary Clinton, and Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a nobody, but the media gave him so much coverage. He didn't even have the money, free coverage, and they didn't do that with her. So, and he lied to them all along that he was a billionaire. They bought that. Why not investigate someone? We have a system that really sucks. If we had investigated Trump, and if really give everybody equal footage, like Hillary, Trump, whoever candidate was out there seeking to be elected, then we would have the right candidate. But instead, we went with entertainment because as a public, that's what we want. We want to be entertained. But the White House is not a place of entertainment. We have to put people who are qualified there. Unfortunately, we made that mistake, and I'm afraid we'll continue to make that mistake. We're not learning.
You don't think that the midterm elections are going to be very, might turn the tide of things that are happening? That a lot of people will now come out to vote to support candidates that are anti-Trump?
Maybe, maybe not.
So you don't feel very optimistic?
I have an outfit that if you look at my social media account, I did my get out to vote message. I did climb something. It wasn't a statue. You can look it up. People really love it. This only happened, I think, yesterday. I was Staten Island by the water. I was climb up on top of this wooded thing that was sticking up from the rock and the water. That outfit was something I think I asked Suze to design for me. It says vote them out. The bandana says, I think vote them out. The short says be best for that slogan. The message is we have to try our very, very best to persuade people to go out and vote. My concern is we have become very weak in the way we see politics and in the way we trust the politicians. And we're not upholding the Constitution at all. Everything is like just fair game, right? I don't know if it's the video games. I really don't know what you attribute that to, but think, the beef I have with, to give an example, is like Halloween that's coming up. And you young people, you will agree with me. On Halloween, people come out. They're gonna go shopping. They're gonna get those costumes. They're gonna hit the street. They're going to party. A lot of hours is gonna be put into Halloween. I don't have a problem with Halloween. All I'm saying is capitalism, patriarchy. It's a violent system. It has created this desire to mobilize or to come out in mass for consumption but not for politics, which is what we need to sustain ourselves in this country, to make sure there's no barbarism, because that's what's happening with our politics. We're putting children in cages, we have lost our humanity. One of my perfect quotes that I love so much is, when we have placed children in cages, we have lost our humanity. It's over. How we regain it, how we get it back, we have to think beyond, outside of the box. We have to stop being comfortable and selfish. And I mean it harshly, because we have lost our ways. That's why Brett Kavanaugh is the Supreme Court Justice. Not enough people are outraged or putting time and effort to be an activist. It doesn't take one moment, like Halloween, or I shouldn't say Halloween, like the Million Women, the march.
Million Man March?
The Million Men March, the Million Women March, and most recently, the Women March. We don't need to do something like that once a year. Come out and come out. That's why I've decided to become a full-time activist, because I know I will be like many of you guys, doing some 9-to-5 jobs and investing very little into activism. Right now, we need a lot of activists to send a strong message that people need to come out and vote. And also another thing is, capitalism, patriarchy is a system that's set up so that we only think voting on the primary election or the general election is the only impact we're going to make. No, don't believe that. That's why I came out on the 4th of July and did what I did in the name of justice. You don't wait for the elections. I'm not saying go claim monuments, guys. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you young people, think, and you can mobilize. If you want to do Halloween, maybe wear costumes around the issues that the problems we are having in the country. And have a party, have fun with it, and tell each other to come out and vote. Or go hit the street. At Rise and Resist, we spend a lot of money buying those banners, those posters. I mean, these folks, they take time off from work to support one another. They get arrested. You don't have to be arrested, but if you want to, it's civil disobedience, perfectly normal, perfectly okay. I did it. You don't have to do what I did. It was a little extreme. But Rise and Resist people, they get arrested all the time to fight. Don't leave it to a small group of people to carry the torch and to do the work. We all need to get involved.
Thank you, Patricia. So I'd like to open it up for questions. Anyone have questions for Patricia? Comments? Anyone?
Gabrielle?
What do you think about Kanye West meeting Donald Trump recently?
I think Kanye West, it's possible. I'm not a doctor or a psychologist, that he's suffering for some mental chaos, dysfunction, crisis, and it may be a cry for help. The man need a lot of help. And he's been used by Trump. Trump is a user. All his life, all his career is just using people. He had several bankruptcies. And he did that on purpose. He would get loans from the Russians, and he didn't mean to invest in those businesses. A lot of people lost their jobs. This is not new. It's been used. So don't listen to Kanye West. He's a minority. We are the majority.
You have a question?
Earlier you were talking about how you asked God to show you, like, all right, how do you find a way up the statue? Because you're like, wait, no way. But like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, how, show me. And obviously he did, but like, can you further explain? So how did he show you the way up? Like, how do you? Yeah.
Good question.
How did he answer you? Yeah.
Right. So remember I was saying I was going around the circle while the chopper was coming, the NYP chopper. I want to see with my eyes, because I didn't do any Google research, if it was possible. And the statue looks something like this, really. I had to climb up the fence first, right? That concrete barrier, and just maintain my balance so I don't fall over. Once I was there, I jumped on the statue, cling to it with my fingers and my toes, and went around it looking for another spot to get up there even further. In fact, there was a point where there's a park officer who was coming. I guess the world is watching. The judge is not watching, hopefully. And he was saying, come down, come down. And I was like, if I get arrested now, I would not have made an impact. And I know this was God calling, and it has to have a bigger impact. I said, just keep going. And I kept going in a circle, and I found a better spot to cling on to and do that last pull-up that I needed to get me up there.
Any other questions? Comments? Anyone? Don't be afraid. Anyone? No? I guess then we'll end here. Thank you so much. Thank you
so
Thank
much
you
for
for
having
coming.
me.
Okay.